Where does Bama stand next year as far as the season goes and the whole gist of things? We just gonna dive into different news articles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, baby. Bama has landed another big dog. I repeat, Bama has landed another big dog in them trenches. Like we know, no matter what level it is, what level you're talking about, the trenches are where the games are won for real. you know, down at the levee, we going fishing at the levee. yeah, man. Roll Tide. Once again, before I get into it, you got Corsten's opinions, man. Drop them in the chat. Once again, make sure you become a channel member. Certain perks, certain exclusives, etc., etc., etc. Roll Tide full of pride. The main goal is to win the natty. The main goal is to win the natty, right? Right. So boom. uh, we know it's a lot of naysayers about talk badly about Bama. Everyone pretty much counted Bama out. They're not this, they're not that, it's over, etc., etc., etc. But I beg to differ, man. I say Bama will be in the mix next year again, and they will take it even further. We've been talking about the portal really for 2 weeks straight. It's been big time news. It's been fast paced, things happening every day. Now it's kind of slowing down, right? Now you can kind of take a little breath, but at the end of the day, signings can still happen. Things are still going on. You still have recruiting to do. We got National Signing Day, right, coming up in February. So Bama, Kalen Deboer is questions about the coaching staff, what will happen there. Will the O-line coach be cut off? Will he be out of there? You ask most fans, boom, they say they want him up out of there, round yonder. That's something Kalen Deboer will definitely have to figure out. What are his moves as far as his coaching staff goes? I mean, hell, some people even want to see Ryan Grubb for out of there, fired, et cetera, baby. But one thing for sure, two for certain, we know for a fact the run game has to get going definitely. No ifs, ands, buts about it, right? Right. At the end of the day, if we want to be successful at all next year, next season, Bama has to find a run game. Now, does that mean bringing in a new offensive line position coach? Does that mean going to the extreme firing Ryan Grubb, which probably isn't realistic? But now the questions will be, since the portal is over, you can still sign players here and there. I'm going to get into the most recent signing, but the question will be, will Kalen Deboer address his coaching staff now that the portal window is closed? Players have to be pretty much committed, right? Committed to the team, committed to the grind, committed to the Tide, at least until next year, right? Right. So now we look more further ahead. What do they do with this offense? What do they do with this offensive line? What do they do with the play calling, the scheme, man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we know for a fact, right? I don't care how good your defense is or whatever, bruh. How many dogs you got on defense, boom. If you can't get no run game going, we will see the same outcome as we seen last year. This past season, man, for real. I don't care how much talent you have, how many skilled players you have. You have to be dominant. You have to be strong. You have to be tough in the trenches, baby. Yeah, no way around it. It's not rocket science. No, this is football. Make sure when you come in the chat, you like it up, man. Takes less than 1 second, right? Right. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with everybody even your damn dog and cat. Tell them watch. Pay attention. You hear me? Pay attention, man. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what does Bama do to get this run game going? They addressed the O-line in the portal. You got to respect that. Really, as fans, that was our major concern, especially the portal, all them guys leaving. Defensive side of the ball, trenches right. Offensive side of the ball, trenches right. Boom. So it's always been a question, lingering, lingering. What does Bama do from here? How do they replace certain players, bruh? Boom. They hit the portal heavy. They kind of waited to the last minute, damn near. Really waited to the last minute, but at the end of the day, they got the job done. Let alone the other young players who are in the building, the freshmen, the sophomores, the Michael Corrals, he definitely will hold that right tackle position down next year. Then left side, boom. I believe they signed another tackle for Mississippi State. Well, not I believe. They did sign another tackle for Mississippi State, and he could definitely be a dog. I'm going to get into him in a minute. And other news as well. But this is the time here, dog. Your off-season strength and conditioning program needs to be right, needs to be set in stone. Players need to have goals to get bigger, whether some players need to lose weight, whether some players need to gain weight, get stronger, get faster, whatever the case may be. This is when they start grinding, hitting the weights, you know what I mean? Hitting them sprints, dog, doing that field work. I'm sure they've been resting already. Now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. Certain players probably go to certain camps. You see college players working out with NFL players now, so it should benefit them at the highest level. You identify what certain players are doing as well. Certain players like maybe Ryan Williams, right, dog? Boom, no cap. We need him to get back to the Ryan Williams of old. We need him to have that dog mentality for real. I don't know what was going on with him this year, why he didn't produce at the level we know he could or can. A lot of people said, hey, sophomore slump. All right, bet, man. Cool. We give him a little leeway. But at the end of the day, we need a lot more from him. And also, he's playing for NFL position next year. He comes out and balls. He comes out and puts on a show. He's looking at being a first-round pick. But if he comes out and sucks it up in his ass, guess what, bro? You talk about somebody's draft stock who will be disappointing. Talk about draft stock that will dramatically drop. Oh, yeah, that is Ryan Williams to the T. So he's at a crossroads right now for real. How does Ryan Williams respond? How does he react to a down season, homie? To a damn near trash, piss poor season, homie? Yeah. You know what I mean? How does he bounce back? Period, man. Heavy. Talk about other guys like Lloyd Sear Brooks. You talk about guys on the offensive line like Michael Corral, even new guys who just came in the building, Racing Delgatti. Do they jump in fast, quickly, and swiftly and start putting that work in heavy? Do they start building chemistry right now? Austin Mack, boom. Kalen Russell, right? Boom. Are they working with the receivers? Are they even working together? Is Kalen Russell dialed into his playbook, man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Because the quarterback battle, that will be a true battle, bruh, period. No way around it. And it shouldn't be no favoritism, right? No loyalty. You know what I mean? Oh, Kalen Russell's in the building. Austin Mack is in the building, bro. So what? It should be a true competition early. Some people say that it wasn't a true fair competition when Ty Simpson was in the building. So Kalen Deboer has to revamp that. But as we know, spring football is right around the corner. So that's when the separation really happens. That's when we really can break it down and see who's the man, who's first string, who's second string, third string, boom, bro. All of the above. So when spring ball hits, when it's really time to get dirty and get on that field where it's real, that's what we're going to see who them real dogs are. Oh, yeah, that's when we're going to see who them real dogs are, bro. You hear me? No cap. That's when it will be a major separation, man. Yeah. The most, I mean, for if I'm being honest here, I'm probably excited the most about as far as competition and stuff and true battles. The linebackers, definitely, and the quarterback position battle, bro. Heavy. I really want to see who comes out on top out of Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. Different quarterbacks in their own right. Austin Mack, the bigger quarterback. Some may say Keelan Russell is the more explosive quarterback. Maybe when it comes to running, he can probably do more, give you more, you know. But let's not forget, right? Austin Mack can run as well. You talk about arm strength. Austin Mack may have a more powerful arm as far as arm power, right? But Keelan may have more what? Velocity, maybe more touch, maybe even more accuracy, huh? Yeah. So it's gonna be a real deal battle, man. And at the end of the day, who's gonna show up and show out? Hands down, man down. You know? Who's gonna be the one to separate themselves? So I'm definitely excited about that battle. I can't wait to see the cornerbacks get after it, the safeties get after it, huh? But the O line, offensive line, that's the one, man. That is the one. That is the one we're really gonna see. Okay, bet. Who are the dogs, man? Who are the real dogs on that front, on that line? You know, can we really have a real solid, mean run game? And not only that, can the run game be very consistent? Can we average 90 yards a game or more every game? You know, can we break teams down? Can we out physical teams? Can we pass protect? You know, can we protect whoever the quarterback is? Can we protect him? You feel me? Because if we come out there like we did this past season and it's the same results, oh man, it's going to be the same results overall, homie. Heavy. You know what I mean? But this time you might not even see the playoffs, man. Yeah. So that all goes back and falls on Deboer, having the right coaches in this damn locker room on this damn team. You know, Deboer's staff. Does he believe in them? Does he trust them? You know, are their credentials worthy? What have they proven at the end of the day? Right. You know, period, homie. Not no more of this buddy system. My friend this, my friend that. Oh, he came up with me. So what, bro? I don't care. If he's not the man for the job, guess what, bro? I do not care. Get him out the building. And whether that's Ryan Grubb or whoever, you know what I mean? Homie, it's time to win. It's time for the best men to be on the field, the best men to be in the coaching staff. Point blank, period, man. No cap. So we're going to see how it all pans out. What does Deboer really do? You know, what changes, if any, are made? Huh? Just how it's going down, man. Period. You know? We get into this article right quick. Break some of these down. But definitely got to talk about another dog that came into the building. You know? Gotta speak on the big dog. Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Definitely welcome this dude right here to Alabama, to Roll Tide. You know what I mean? You know? And this is the prime example of how the portal is over, right? Players can no longer enter. But at the end of the day, if they entered already, they can still sign. I believe the deadline is what? Maybe February, maybe, or late January or something of that nature. Heavy, man. Yeah. But the signing of JAYVIN James shows you what exactly the portal means to college football, how it definitely affects college football. It can be good or bad. Majority, right? I would say it affects it in a negative way. You know, especially this whole pay for play deal. Now, once again, always got to reiterate, it's never about the players not being paid. It was never about players not getting guapino, right? Pismo, Denali, man, linguini, huh? Fettuccine, baby. Yeah, it was never about that. Yeah, they should have been getting paid all along. The billions they bring to these programs, right? The billions they bring to these schools, huh? No one ever says players shouldn't get paid, but also you can't forget about the potential crash out, you know, the potential of a player not being mentally ready, mentally prepared, huh? Yeah, that's the bottom line. So you give a man 10 mil, where was his work? Where does his work ethic go? You know, does he even forget about the NFL? You understand, make your bread, make your money, definitely. But we all know some players haven't reached the level of maturity and some never will. I mean, we see grown men, so to say, per se, in the NFL, right? Make millions, boom, go broke, make millions, opportunity of a lifetime. Then what? Do something stupid, get thrown in jail, mingle in the streets, make dumb decisions, huh? Year in, year out, put themselves in bad decisions, bruh, year in, year out. One mistake changes their whole life and they lose everything. So what do you think will happen or could potentially happen to a 17, 18-year-old, 19, 20, even 21 and up? You give him a big old bag. On top of that, you don't hold him accountable at all. You hear me, dog? Yeah. you know, it's the perfect recipe for what? For a crash out. I repeat, huh? It's the perfect recipe for what? A crash out, baby. Yeah. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is this here. Pay the players, man, but be smart about it, homie. Yeah. That was always the situation, always the biggest conundrum, right? Right. Shout out Hu Yang in the building, huh? Yeah. What's going on? Football over already? Hu Yang, wow. Hu Yang, you a wild one, you know. You know good and damn well football is over. We got what? 2 more games. You know Hu Yang, 2 games Sunday. Then the Super Bowl, college football over and done with. So yeah, hell to the yeah. Hu Yang, it's a wrap. It's a Rizzy, baby. Yeah. 8 more months, 8 more months. Huh? you know? But it shows you how the transfer portal works. But I'm gonna dive into JAYVIN James. Might even break down some film on him a little bit. Let's just go ahead and get into this article, man. But big pickup. Once again, Alabama addresses a position of need. They address the depth of their offensive line, so it's a win-win. Now, I don't know much about JAYVIN James. I'm going to break him down right here. But at the end of the day, he is 6'5", 320 pounds. I repeat, 6'5", 320. So that gives you more meats up front. I've been hearing some news about how he's mean, he's tough, he's gritty, maybe even dirty, but in a good way. And that's what Bama needs, bro. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. No cap. Bama needs players who are mean, bro, who are very aggressive, who are bullies out there. We're trying to get back to what? Murder ball. How do you get back to murder ball? You bringing them real dogs. You know what I mean? Early, man. Roll Tide. Huh? Let's get it, man. Yeah. Alabama has landed one of its biggest portal wins of the cycle. So obviously the portal, the portal people, the people who run the portal or observe the portal, man, yeah, thinks this is one of Bama's biggest portal wins of the cycle. So he must be a really good player, very talented at the least, homie. Yeah. Let's get into it. Alabama has landed one of its biggest portal wins of the cycle. Former Mississippi State starting left tackle JAYVIN James announced on Wednesday that he will transfer to Alabama and suit up for the Crimson Tide. The 6'5", 320-pound lineman officially entered the transfer portal on Tuesday, which may cause some confusion given that the window closed on January 16. Portal entries can take up to 2 business days to process. So this is really a big business, bro. It is really a big booming, I repeat, booming now business, man. No cap, no way around it. Now, hopefully, as the years go on, shit, hopefully, even next year, some changes are made and some things are just revamped. Because, like we know, it's a lot of flaws with this whole portal situation, man. Yeah, you hear me? Yeah, no cap. If James submitted his paperwork last Friday, the MLK holiday could have delayed the official posting until Tuesday or even Wednesday. James enters his redshirt junior season with more starting experience than any of Alabama's offensive line portal additions. So once again, bro, boom. You don't only bring in a talented player, you bring in an experienced player, right? Right. You're talking about a guy who's a junior. He's had the reps. He's a real big dog out there. He understands the SEC, the physical play, the speed, all that. You know, he's been going up against real deal competition, the best competition in college, playing in the best conference in college football, period. If you didn't check out my last live, right, make sure you go check it out. I broke down Alabama's schedule. I broke down Indiana's schedule. I know it's been this whole colossal argument or argument or debates here and there. Oh, is the Big Ten the best conference now? It's not the best conference now. Like I said last time, bro, you take a big team and put them in the SEC and see how they fare once it's all said and done, right? For real, bro. No cap. You take a Indiana, you take a Michigan even, or who else, huh? Oregon, huh? Ohio State. Boom. You take one of those teams, you put them in the Big Ten, and you can do a swap exchange, really, if you want to, homie. You hear me, huh? Yeah, you can really do a real exchange, man. Yeah, no cap. But you just put a Big Ten team in the SEC for a season, even, and see how they pan out. See how it pans out for them. See what their record is. Period, man. Yeah. He started 12 games for Mississippi State in 2025, including 9 at left tackle after spending his first 2 seasons at Akron, where he made 9 starts as a redshirt freshman. James logged 856 snaps this past season. Once again, a lot of experience, bruh. Period. What Bama really needs. So he can help the young players, teach them certain tricks of the game, period, man. Be a true leader. Allowing 3 sacks and committing 6 penalties per PFF and only allowing 3 sacks. That's a great stat to me. What about you? And only committing 6 penalties. So there you have it. And always say, be careful. Don't be deceived by PFF. But in this case, since I didn't really watch Mississippi State play right, or definitely didn't see him play, didn't really tune in, period. I'm going to just go ahead and take PFF, and let's just say they're correct with these stats. Those are pretty damn good stats, man, for real. Only 3 sacks allowed and only committing 6 penalties. So you playing clean football. On top of that, you playing really good football and you protecting your quarterback. Exactly what Bama needs, So I'm here for it. I'm all for it, dog. Heavy roll tide. A Pompano Beach, Florida native and Blanchie Eli High School product, James originally signed with Akron in 2023 in the 2023 class as a 3-star prospect. He transferred to Maryland last January before re-entering the portal in the spring. So he's been pretty much going here, going there, trying to find the perfect fit, I guess. Once again, these are portal issues that must be addressed. But in this case, I'm rocking and rolling with it because Bama has signed a really good player. We're going to see what's going on, man, for real. At the end of the day, right, all these players have to prove who they are on a damn field where it's really real. With 2 years left for eligibility remaining, James will immediately compete for a starting role on Alabama's 2026 offensive line. James becomes the 6th offensive lineman Alabama has added via the transfer portal. The group also includes redshirt junior center Rayson Delgatti from Cal Poly. We all know about him. A lot of high expectations for him. A lot of excitement surrounding his name. Right, right. you know, you turn on a film for this man. He is a true dog. Redshirt junior guard Ethan Fields, Ole Miss. Redshirt freshman center slash guard Caden Strayhorn, Michigan. Redshirt freshman tackle slash guard Ty Haywood, Michigan. And sophomore tackle slash guard Nick Brooks from Texas. And we know how big Nick Brooks really is, the 6'7", versatile, can play tackle right, can play guard. Boom. He's a big dude, a real big boy. So Bama has really solidified his offensive line. Now, if they can just work these players the right way, develop them the right way, have them really on the same accord and make sure the best men are on the field, we could see a total 360 in Bama's run game offense. Homie, I repeat, a total 360 right in Bama's run game offense, which is very important for them to have going into next season. We need a run game. What the hell is Bama without a run game, man? Huh? I repeat, what the hell is Bama, right, without a run game? That's like peanut butter, no jelly, man. Ham, no burger, man. Huh? Y'all ain't never got two things that match. Yeah, man. Come on now. But yeah, so another great signing for Bama, heavy. And we're gonna get into the incoming portal class, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, man. But yeah, shout out JAYVIN James. I think he can be a real dog. And just like it said in the article, right, he has a chance. He will be battling for a number one spot. So him and whoever else are gonna go at it head to head, imano, and may the best man win. So spring ball, I repeat, spring ball, will tell everything, man. We all know what spring ball is at every level, huh? Yeah, you hear me? The only level you really don't see spring ball where players are still off right is the NFL level because they need more rest, right? Yeah, more time to train their bodies, all that. Boom. But even them, even NFL players, man, top of the top, elite of the elite, are training, hitting the weight room, getting that field work in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, huh? Yeah. But spring ball, man, we gonna see who the top dogs are. And just because a guy ain't starting or didn't get the starting job don't mean he's not a dog. He just not the best dog right now. And at the end of the day, bro, we want them levy dogs, man. You want them dudes with the mentality of them levy dogs. You hear me, homie? Yeah, if you know, you know. Huh? You know how them levy dogs is. You hear me, homie? Yeah. Them levy dogs, hungry, bro. Hungry as hell, bro. You hear me, man? Do anything to eat, man. Yeah. They got a chip on their shoulder, man. A point to prove, man. You hear me, man? Yeah. Them levy dogs, mean, man. Dirty, ready for the nitty gritty, ready for the battle, the war at any time, man. So we want them levy dogs on the field, homie. Yeah. Them levy dogs with a point to prove, my dog. Yeah. Huh? Roll Tide, man. For real. So it's time for Kalen Deboer and his staff, homie, to identify, and develop them real deal levy dogs. You know what I mean? Heavy. The hell going on around here? That's where I'm at with it, man. That's how I'm rocking and rolling with it. Give me 1 second, man. and then just a total breakdown of the incoming portal class. Then I'm gonna see if JAYVIN James got some highlights or some film work I can really break down. Because I like to look at the film and see what dudes is really about, man. For real, Yeah. So the current incoming portal class, You got wide receiver Noah Rogers, NC State. A lot of talk about him, a lot of promise about him, right? People very excited. You got tight end Josh Ford from Oklahoma State. And I believe he's more of a run blocker than a pass catcher, than a receiving tight end. But at the end of the day, is that really a complaint or a concern? I mean, shit, huh? I like the fact that he's a better run blocker than a pass catcher, in my opinion. You need one, you need one tight end who's great at run blocking, man. Yeah. You can have another or two more that are great receivers. I feel like Bama will have a very talented tight end group, a tight end room that could really produce at a high level. You got inside offensive lineman Caden Strayhorn from Michigan, a redshirt freshman. Ty Haywood, we all are excited about him. He came over from Michigan. Another big body guy, another avalanche damn near on that O line once again. You got Nick Brooks from Texas. We all know about Nick Brooks and the size he brings to the O line. Racindale Gaddy has the potential to be a real dog. Ethan Fields, Ole Miss, another dog. Devin Tompkins, USC, red shirt. A lot of hype with him coming over from USC. Caleb Smith, Washington. Still, the verdict is still out on him. Not too much film on him for real. He didn't play last year at all. But as far as being a athletic specimen, 6'5", 200 plus pounds. Think he's like what, 250? A lot of raw talent that needs to be developed. Definitely can get better in certain technical areas, right? Staying lower, keeping his pad height lower. So just certain things you point out already. But he's a young guy, man, a young redshirt freshman. You put him with Kane Walmack, Freddie Roach. It comes down to coaching, right? Once again, can they really develop these players at a high level? You can bring in all the talent in the world, right? But if you can't develop that talent and bring the best out of the talent you have on the field, damn near, then you will not reach your maximum potential. Bama will not get to where they want to be. So that's going to come down to it, man. Like I always say, right? Boom, man. Coaching, I repeat, coaching is the most important part of a team. Hands down, man down. Ain't no way around it, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Come on, homie, now. Yeah. We know what's up. We know what it is, man. We know what it ain't. Come on, now. Defensive lineman Caleb Smith, we already talked about him. Terrence Green. Terrence Green, big signing, Oregon, redshirt junior, a big body, 6'6", 350 plus 330 plus